Meeting to order at 5:30 on Monday, October 13th. Teresa, would you like to do roll call, please?
Sure. Chair Riker,
Here.
Vice Chair Sloan.
Here.
Commissioner Davis. Here. Commissioner Bennett.
Here.
Commissioner McDonald.
Here.
All right, invocation pledge of allegiance. Does anybody like to volunteer for that tonight? Oh, thank you.
We're going to stand and do the pledge first? Or do
Either
we-
one.
Okay. That's how I like to do things. Pledge of allegiance before anything.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time to serve our community and the Housing Authority of New Smyrna Beach. Give us wisdom, give us clarity, give us guidance. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you, Commissioner Nelson. Okay, opening up the public hearing for the fiscal year ending 2027 Move to Work Supplement. Did you want to say anything about it, Teresa? Or?
It's
I'm
just a
thinking we've
public
all looked at
hearing.
it.
What we do is ask if there's any questions or comments on it, and then we record those into the public hearing.
All right. Does anyone have any
Minutes.
questions or comments on the Move to Work? Well, I'll just comment and say that after speaking with Teresa, a lot of the things that were in the 39-page document had already been instituted in 2023 and were mentioned in the Move to Work document because that's the way you have to do it with HUD, is to put everything in there. And the couple 2025 things that were in there were things that Teresa's already talked with us about. We've already taken care of them, and that was the mandatory FSS membership and 15 hours work week. So we already have been working with that, Teresa has. And moving FSS from 5 years to 9 years, which coincides directly with the term limits from 5 years to 9 years. So the two of those work together as they should. So those were the only comments that I have to make after having read the document. Anyone else? Okay, all right, then we can close the public hearing on that item and open up the public hearing on fiscal year 2026 annual and CFP plan. Any comments on this document or questions for Teresa?
Was this a separate document that was sent separately from the board packet?
Both of them were, Nelson, yes.
Because I don't know when that was sent.
It was a couple weeks ago or something, wasn't it, Teresa?
These, they were sent with the last minutes, or the last meeting.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because I'd love it if whatever we're going to discuss for a particular meeting, everything, we could get a PDF with the board
Yeah,
packet.
I
so-
did send that PDF. It was probably in the September package.
Okay.
So maybe
I
just
can resend it for you, Nelson.
yeah, like I actually appreciated getting it early because it was a lot of reading.
Okay.
So that was good, but to Nelson's point, to have it all together at one place and then we can keep it all in our file at one place too.
Well, yeah, because I looked at those resolutions and I thought, I'm sure this document exists somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
Right.
So that'd be-
Okay, I'll
that'd be
resend those out for you.
Thank you.
Does everyone want that in the PDF or just Nelson and,
I don't need it.
Okay.
Thanks.
okay. All right, I'll resend that to you.
If we're going to do them ahead of time when we send out documents, if we can, and maybe it did and I just missed it, if we can reference that this will be covered in the October 13th meeting or whenever, then we know, okay, I need to go through this for that meeting and make sure I've read it and have any questions about it at that time.
Okay.
That'd just help me, because I just do PDFs, so I don't have paper everywhere.
Well, and I'm sure you get a lot more emails, Nelson, than any other one of us up here, because you're still kind
I
of
hope
working.
so, because it's just unbelievable.
I know. Us retired folk, we don't get that many, so we can, it's easy to not lose them.
That'd be helpful, Teresa, thank you.
So the only thing that I wanted to call attention to on this document, and Teresa and I have already discussed it, when you look under the page on new activities, she's listed everything that's possible for these properties, converting them to, from public housing to project-based rental assistance, talking about modernization for Donnelly Home, Live Oak, and Enterprise. She talks about demolishing them. Just everything is in there. And I asked her, I said, well, how come we don't know what we're going to do with them yet? So you sure have everything covered? And she said it has to be that way with HUD. You have to list every single thing, because if you miss something and you don't put it in there, and then that's the thing you want to work with, you can't go forward with it. So if that helps anyone, I just thought that was interesting, because when I read it, I was confused. I was like, well, what are you going to do with it? Because you've listed like 3 or 4 things with these 3 properties, Donnelly, Live Oak, and Enterprise, and that was the explanation. So I just share that with you because I thought that was important. Any other questions or comments on the 2026 annual and CFP plan? All right, then we will close public hearing for that. I would like to have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 14th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No one opposed, motion carries. Okay, public participation. We don't have any real public. All right, we'll pass on that one. All right, tenant account charge-offs, so we're rolling with you, Teresa.
Okay, we had 2 evictions in Enterprise Homes, and the balance of those evictions are listed as a tenant account write-off. These accounts are also listed in the HUD system called the Earned Income Verification System, showing that this is a balance owed to a public housing authority, which goes into the system all across the country to the 3,600 public housing authorities across the country. So if they apply for housing anywhere else in the country, they're going to get this little box that pops up on their screen that says, this person owes the New Smyrna Beach Housing Authority this much money, which means they cannot enter that program until they pay us off.
Good to know. All right, any questions with regard to the tenant accounts? All right, moving right along then. Assets to condemn.
I do need a motion and a
Oh,
second
So
for that.
moved.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Who's second?
Me.
Okay, thank you.
None opposed, motion carries. Thanks, Teresa. All right, assets to condemn, none. Directors' reports, you can start with vacancy if you'd like.
Ms. Crystal?
Good evening.
Can you speak into the mic? Sorry.
First, start with public housing. I had just one tenant move out of Donnelly Homes, and we're in the process of doing the unit turnover now. Once we get done, we'll be pulling from that wait list. Next is the Development Corp. That's not Development Corp. We got 607 is finally rented after the unit turnover there. We got a nice family that's moved in there, helped them out. They're all the way from Michigan,
Maine,
Maine. Okay. And so they have a pod here, and they're real happy, excited to have a bigger house for them and their kids. She works from home. Really nice family. Turgot, that's been rented now, and we also have the other one that's pending application. She was supposed to do her move-in paperwork today, but some financial things came up, so she's shooting for Friday. But she's still all a go on that.
I just have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are we on Railroad Street?
No, it's flipped to the next page. Is
Okay, but I
development
want to go
court.
back to Railroad Street, please. It says pulling from wait list, meaning it's going to be,
I haven't done that, though.
oh, she didn't get there yet. Sorry, I jumped ahead.
I could go to that one, though. I'm done with development corp
Okay,
anyways.
sorry.
Okay, what was your question?
The question is on Railroad. There are 2 pulled from a wait list. It said pulling from wait list.
130 is the only one that we still have available, and we will pull from that waiting list depending on
Okay.
the applications that we received. 527, we have a voucher holder there. We're just waiting for some paperwork, and then we'll be able to do.
Thank
the
you
move.
very much.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
thank you.
All right, the FSS report?
79 participants, 249 family members, 2 contracts pending, 9 with escrow, 60 with 0 escrow. 0 escrow does not mean that they're not working. It just means that they're at a steady income and they haven't got an increase in their rent yet. The escrow comes when they get an increase in their rent. We have 1 with public housing escrow, 6 with 0 escrow in public housing, 2 enrolled in college, 69 employed out of 79, 9 unemployed, and we're working with those. Families that increase their income, 2 so far. And that's where your escrow comes in, you know. We had 4 program graduates in the last year, 3 left housing out of the 4. We have 3 that are pending graduation within the next couple months.
Super.
We also have 2 public housing family members that are going into Habitat homes by the end of this year.
Boy, that's good, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Any questions on the FSS report of Teresa?
No.
All right, services report.
Okay, Miss Aiden has been keeping up with this. So for the month of September, let's see. I'm not sure the quarterly was updated yet, so I'll just go by the month of September. 30 food bags for seniors, 29 last month. Homeless food bags, 78 versus 100 last month. I can tell you we've seen more homeless in August because of the heat. They come in more during the extreme weather incidents, like extreme heat or extreme cold. They come in for more services. So you'll see an up and down kind of trend here. Frozen meats, we had 92 families come in. 12 with food stamp assistance, that's kind of consistent. 99 people with gift cards of $450. 25 bus passes, or $25 bus passes, 8 of those. 8 bus passes at $25, I guess it was. Okay, sorry. MREs, we served 34 people. Other resources, links 20. We have 11 mainstream vouchers on the street searching right now. We have 138 number of homeless served. Elderly served 69, total number of services provided 207 in 1 month.
All right, sounds
So-
good. Any questions? All right, moving right along to, you have property reports next.
I did not get the property reports finished this month. I'll update those next month for
All
you.
right, so we'll just remove that. Okay, new business, fiscal year 2026 operating subsidy.
Okay, so that one is behind the payment standards and the flat rent schedule there. So every year I complete reports for the operating subsidy. And the way I explained this to Commissioner or Chair Riker is, so for Section 8, the tenants pay 30% of their income for rent. And the Housing Authority pays 70% to the landlord for their portion of the rent. In public housing, we charge the tenants 30% of their income for rent. So as a landlord, we don't get that 70% because it's public housing. So public housing has different subsidies because we're only getting 30% of the tenant income. Then there's a formula called the operating subsidy, which comes down from HUD every year, certain percentage of all of the, for example, we do utility allowances. All of the utilities that we pay on behalf of the families are in this formula, and it's a HUD formula. It comes down by the amount of public housing units we have available and rented. So our operating subsidy this year came out to $340,066. So when I do those formulas, I do need to bring that to the board so the board can say, yeah, we'll take $340,000 for operations of the public housing. The other part of operating the housing authority is the capital fund program, which is the other part of the public hearing we went over this morning. That CFP also goes towards public housing. So we get rents, we get operating subsidy, and we get CFP for public housing so that we can run our public housing programs.
You know, it sounds like a dumb question, and I know you know the answer, but $350,000 is enough money? And does HUD look at that and say, oh, you're asking for too much or you're not asking for enough? Do they have any say in what you're asking for?
This is based on the amount of units that we had occupied last year. So it's a formula that HUD comes up with based on occupancy. Okay? So you will see that this number will decrease every year as we have more units come offline. But what happens is we increase the Section 8. Because as we lose public housing, we rebuild with Section 8 vouchers.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So HUD formula to help us pay for public housing.
Correct.
And all we're doing, because we have a resolution coming up for this later when we're on resolutions, is just approving Teresa's calculation of the $350,000 for the public housing. So that's why I was kind of asking that question for those who maybe didn't know how you got there.
Yeah, it's a HUD formula. Everything's done online. So HUD says, this is what we have in our system, saying this is how much, because everything that we do goes to HUD every month. So HUD keeps track of that. So we got move-outs, we got move-ins, so they know how many units we have available and how many units we don't have available. And all of that information is based on the HUD budget. So the HUD budget comes back and says this is what we're going to pay for public housing this year, which usually decreases every year, you know. Section 8, for example, they'll say Section 8 T-HUD bill is going to come in at 1.2% of what was paid out last year, which means we get an increase in Section 8 every year to help pay the landlords. What happens with public housing is HUD's trying to get out of public housing. So public housing for the last 20 years that I've been here has been reduced by 80% or 20% every year. So I can tell HUD this is what we had operating for last year, and they'll say, that's nice, here's 80% of that.
All right. Helpful? Any questions?
The only question I had relates to this amount that you mentioned is 350. In the agenda, it says 340,066, and in the
It's-
resolution, it says 350,066.
I'm sorry, it should be 340,066.
Okay. I think that was paid. I can,
Yeah, that's
it's page 56 in the
typographical.
PDF, but,
So I'll
okay,
have to,
so it
I'll
is
change that.
340,066 is the correct resolution amount.
Thanks, Nelson, good catch, because I
Yes,
was
thank you,
looking, I went
Nelson.
straight to the resolution, was looking at 350, and it's where I thought we were at.
No, it is 340, but thank you for catching that.
Okay, and then would you like to address the 2026 payment standards? Move to work
Okay,
payment
so
standards.
every year we get what HUD brings down as fair market rents for our metropolitan area. So this year, HUD brought down our fair market rents at, let's see, if you look at the payment standard formula that I have in your package, the fair market rents are the top number according to bedroom size. 0, 1205, 1, 1385, 2, 1700, 3, 2241, and a 4-bedroom at 2429. So if we adopt the payment standards at 105%, that gives them a little bit of a boost, but it doesn't take us to an outrageous amount of rent. So minus the utility allowance that we allow for each family member, gives the base rent at the bottom. So when we're telling Section 8 tenants to go out and you have a 1-bedroom voucher, your voucher cannot exceed that $1,357. So we take the fair market rents, and housing authorities are allowed to go up to 110% of fair market rents. As a move to work agency, we're allowed to go to 120% because we do have that approval. But right now, the fair market rents are in line with what our rentals are right now. So there's no reason for us to go to 120%, pay more when we're, in a crisis budget area right now and during a government shutdown.
I found it interesting that HUD gives us these numbers. I don't know if any of you thought that was interesting or not, because I was like, well, where do these numbers come from? I mean, truly, a 3-bedroom can't be $2,353. I mean, where is that? That must be a luxury apartment. But
No, it's not.
No, it's
not.
That is not a luxury
No.
apartment.
no,
No, not at all. In fact, the 1347, I'm not sure you can get a 1-bedroom anywhere around here now.
really?
Right.
Oh, I'm out of touch.
Yeah. Our 1-bedrooms are ranging about $1,200, $1,250.
Okay. So they're still out of line.
I think we're in line, honestly. I think we're right where we need to be. Compared these payment standards with what we're paying by bedroom size average right now per bedroom size, we are paying right about the 105%. If we go up to 110, 120%, then what that does is allow landlords to say, well, then I want the 120% and raise their rents by $200 or $300 a month, and then that's coming out of our budget authority, and that can be used for another family to help them get subsidized.
The only one that benefits there is the landlord.
Correct.
Okay, any questions on the payment standards? Because we're going to be voting on a resolution on that one as well later. Okay, all right, moving along, 2026 public housing flat rent.
Okay, so same thing, we go by fair market rents. HUD only allows us to charge flat rent for public housing at 80% of the fair market rents. And what this is say a public housing tenants pay 30% of their income for rent. It could be that, you know, these public housing tenants now are in a family self-sufficiency program, and they're getting better jobs, and they're getting better educated, and now their rents, their 30% for a 3-bedroom is going to be $2,000 a month, according to what their income is. So what happens here is when we go to process that annual, we'll say, okay, well, 30% of your income's $2,000, but you have a choice to either pay that $2,000 or to pay the flat rent amount of $1,793. What happens if they elect that flat rent of $1,793 and they lose their job due to no fault of their own, and then they go down, you know, because during the transition of losing a job to get to another job, their rent's going to go down below that $1,793 now, because 30% is going to be a lot less. But say they get another job and now that other job is paying even more, they can't elect that $1,793 but one time a year. So if they lose their job, it goes down below the $1,793, and then they get another job and it goes above the $1,793. Now they're going to pay 30% of their income for the rest of the year. But this is another T-HUD calculation where HUD allows us to only charge 80% of the fair market rents for public housing.
That's why we got our $340,000.
What's that?
That's why we got our $340,000.
Yes.
Putting all the pieces together. All right, any questions on that for Teresa about the flat rent schedule for public housing? All right. Do you need a motion on any of these?
No, not till we get to the resolutions.
Okay, all right. All right, the old business is the board retreat.
Any comments or on the board retreat? Did everybody enjoy the board retreat? I thought it went very well. It was very informative, but I'd like to hear the board's response.
I could have done without the questions about how to guess. I mean, guessing the acronyms, it seemed a little like, obviously, we have no idea what this 5-letter acronym stands for. He's a really nice guy, and I enjoyed, he had an entertaining presentation, but that part of it, to me, it seemed to kind of drag things out where we could have covered more information the amount of time we had. Also, he had mentioned that he would get us PDFs of those 3 documents that he handed out. I've got the acronyms because you sent them to me. But the PowerPoint, there was a lot. It was, and I appreciate that he didn't go through that PowerPoint, because if you read that thing, it's like, it's legal. It's legal jargon that is kind of dry, and that's why I think he even mentioned that he was going to skip that, and it was just so verbiage heavy that it would have been difficult to cover that in the meeting. But those were my only comments.
So you want those documents in PDF?
He said he
Email.
was going to send those to you.
Okay. Okay, got that.
Anyone else?
Well, I certainly learned to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. Is your golf game quieter
There you
these
go.
days, Michelle?
So in that regard, I'm sure it was very worthwhile.
Fairly frightening.
you have anything to say? Sue? No. You do not ask too many questions. There are no bad questions. I thought he was very entertaining, and that was good, because it's a very dry topic. And I had heard him talk before, and it was very dry before. So I just enjoyed the lightness of it, and I did learn some things. It was interesting when we got into that conversation over, I don't know whether it was public records or something, that we went back and forth, and we agreed to disagree on that one, I think. But anyway, I thought it was good, and it was a good refresher for me, honestly. And it was nice to see him again, because he is our attorney, and it's good to have a good relationship with him, so we can have a conversation anytime we feel like we need to call him. And his firm is highly recommended, so in this realm. So I think we've got the right firm.
Clearly the guy knows what he's talking about, and his track record and his experience. Having never met him, having never heard about the firm or anything, I was impressed with his, his expert knowledge.
Yeah, but I agree with you too about the acronyms. There's no way you could know what they are. And I'm doing this for how long? And Regis longer than me, and you can't memorize them all. But when he said, this is the industry that has the most acronyms in the entire world, it's like, well, thank you, because that's what I thought, I don't know why you said one today, and it's like, why was that even an acronym? We'd just call it what it is. Say the 3 words, SFT or something. I don't know what you were. Anyway, it was good. All right, and then what's your next one about the agency procuring a general contractor and architect?
We had talked last month about piggybacking on another agency for a general contractor and A&E, but after further review, their contract is not what we need. So I will be doing an RFQ for an architect and engineer, and it's a request for qualifications. For architects, we only need qualifications. For the general contractor, we will be doing a request for proposals, because we do need to do the one that comes in with the best qualified, that are licensed and insured and have the best qualifications.
And this is for what again?
A general contractor and architect and engineer.
For
So it'll
one
be
of
2
our
different
projects?
ones. This will be for anything that we need as far as public housing goes. Our FEMA is all at the state now for Live Oaks 1, 2, and 3 to get approval through the state. When it comes back, FEMA's going to want to see an alternate project. And that alternate project is going to be what we want to do with Donnelly Homes, which is the air conditioners and the tankless hot water heaters and the windows, the major things that we want to get replaced to make sure that the units last longer. So depending on what money comes back from FEMA, which we'll go over here in a little bit, we need to come up with an alternate project and present that alternate project with the scope of work and the cost estimate to FEMA.
And that's for Donnelly.
That's for Donnelly Homes.
And that is because we can only spend the money in that manner. Is that correct?
Any money that comes in from FEMA must be spent on the Housing Authority and not in our development corporation. With us doing a disposition of Live Oak Homes into our nonprofit development, then that money will not be able to use in the Live Oak Homes property. But we do have other properties under the Housing Authority that it can be used under. So FEMA's going to want to see that we're serving the same population that we would have been serving with Live Oak Homes. So we're still serving a public housing families, just in a different location.
Okay, do you want to address the development now with the Live Oak and the West Side?
Sure.
The big news is the boost, right?
Well, we did get the approval of the $1 million Transform 386 grant from the county last week. So that's for mitigation and infrastructure. The county will be doing all of that work and the procurement and the environmentals. And, so they will take care of all of the contract costs on that project. Also, got a email from Smith and Hensy last week, which is our West Side Phase 2, which is Enterprise Homes, stating that West Side Phase 2 is now in the DDA boost area. And if you guys remember from our previous discussion, being in a boost area for Florida Housing Finance is a big deal because that gives us 30% more bond deals or tax credits than we would have gotten before. So I talked to Jane, our consultant, and let her know this. She looked it up, and Live Oak Homes is also in the DDEA boost area. So we will be applying for both grants this year. West Side Phase 2 will be a 9%. They are also applying for the sale application. We do have city signatures for Live Oak Homes, West Side Phase 2, and the sale applications for West Side Phase 2. This is a good thing because if we can get the increased density for Live Oak Homes, then that will put us with no gap funding for Live Oak Homes.
Really?
If
We'll
we
be
get
at
it-
zero gap funding if we can get the high density on Live Oak Homes.
And the issue is high density?
The issue right now is high density. We have a planning meeting with the city next week.
What happens if we don't get high density?
Well, then we'll have some gap funding, and we'll have to see if the property is going to be able to support itself.
Okay.
But I did request a public records report request for the comprehensive plan, where the community came out and said they didn't want those type of buildings in their neighborhood. That was in 2016. Since 2016, we got high density for Green Lawn Manor.
So is it high density because it's 5 stories, or is it high density because it's the number of units?
Right now, it's zoned as R3, which is 8 units per acre. High density will take it to 18 units per acre. And with our proposal, we're only proposing 80 units right now. And you're talking 5 acres.
And you're going to be meeting with the planning department to discuss this?
The architect and engineer and the developers are working on a planning meeting with the city to discuss the density and the application to change the density.
I'm just puzzled why then, when this first started, there seemed to be no issue with high density. Was it a non-topic, I guess? Was that it?
Well, the closer we get to actual development, the more wrenches there be thrown in. They want to make sure that they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing the correct way, especially being in, the flood zone and Hurricane Ian. And there's just going to be some hoops that we have to jump through, and that's going to be expected. The closer we get, the more questions are going to, come about.
That's not really my question. My question really is, when we were first talking about this, this landings at Live Oak, I have no memory of discussion about difficulty with density.
No, at that time there wasn't. Yes.
And don't we have to have so many units? Don't we have to replace so many units? And that's why we want to go to 75, like 40
We
wouldn't
wanted
cut
80
it?
units so that we could increase the density and so that the project would support itself. So we need to make sure that with a 4% tax credit, we need more other funding than what we do with a 9% tax credit. So
Right, but my point is that if there's 5 acres and it was 8 units per acre, that would only be 40 units.
That's correct.
And we could
That's-
never have, we weren't even talking about that. Because there's that, we had to replace the units at Live Oak that we needed, that we lost, which was
Mhm.
more than 40, correct?
correct,
So you can't not replace what you've lost.
right,
How many did we lose?
40.
We lost 40,
We lost 40.
so we want to do 80.
We want to do 80.
Oh, well, that's not going to work. I mean, that argument.
It's not going to be self-supporting.
At 40, of course
No,
not.
will not be
No.
self-supporting.
Correct.
And
If we
so-
do 40, the new development will not support itself.
Or I'm probably getting a cart before the horse. In next step, if there's no movement on density, I should ask that in another meeting after you've met, right?
Yeah.
Good, okay.
Let's talk to the city
Forget
first.
Forget I even talked about it.
Do you need to show up, our help at showing up at these meetings, the planning meeting or anything?
It wouldn't hurt to have a board member present, Adam. I think we have one scheduled for Monday, the 20th at 11 a.m.
Well, that's the one they have in their little room. That's not the
Yes,
planning.
this is going, no, well, this is going to be a special planning meeting for West Side Phase 2. This is going to be West Side Phase 2. Then we'll have another one for Live Oak Homes. We're going to be doing 2 developments at one time, so this could get confusing.
Is the density an issue with Green Lawn? Is that an issue as much as it is
With,
with Live Oaks?
Green Lawn Gardens?
Right,
No,
Green Lawn Gardens, that's not an issue with Green Lawn Gardens?
not yet. We'll find out Monday.
Oh, we'll find out, okay.
But we've had many meetings with the county already regarding West Side Phase 2, so they've already seen the plans for 84 units. We're proposing to go to 92 units. That way, if there is an issue with the Live Oak Homes and we can't get what we need, at least we're still housing the families that were displaced during Hurricane Ian. We're still replacing the 40 units that we lost.
Good plan.
Okay, so the meeting is Monday?
Monday at 11 at the planning office with Kyle.
Would anyone like to go to that?
I may be able to, I have to look at my calendar.
I mean, I could possibly, but I don't want to take somebody's opportunity if they'd like to go.
I'm happy to give it up to you.
I could go.
Would you like to go?
Would I like to go? I can go. How's that? How long do they last?
It depends on how many questions are asked, so.
Okay.
I mean, it'll be the city planning department, it'll be the utilities commission, it'll be our developers, it'll be myself, it'll be our commission, so.
They're very interesting.
I'm
I've
sure
been
they
to
are.
them on city commission, and they're very
It would be a
interesting.
good experience.
It would be. Okay.
So you want to go, Michelle?
I can go. I'm putting it in right now.
Okay, then Michelle will be our delegate on that.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Michelle.
Thank you,
Michelle.
Michelle.
Thank you.
All right, so where are we now here? Are we done with the development issue, Live Oak and West Side, or is there something else you
I
want to
did
tell us?
want to go over, if you go under the development tab behind the operating subsidy signature page.
With the yellow on it?
Yes, with the yellow on it. Okay, so what this is telling you is, on the right-hand side is our current scenario. Hold on, we got 2 pages here, I think. Okay, second page isn't there.
I only
Okay.
see one page that has yellow on it.
Yeah. So if you look at the yellow 4%,
Yeah.
this is the new numbers with the boost. So if you look down to the bottom where it says gap, this is where we were having issues before because we had a gap under the current scenario of 4% of 3,247,448 on the right-hand side. And if you look in the yellow, it is now 0, which means if we get the boost and we get the 4% tax credit, then we will have no gap. All we need is the density to make it work. And we can move forward on development of live oak homes.
That's a great way to show that distinction.
And what did we say? Hurricane Ian 2022. By the time we close on live oak homes, it will be 2026, 4 years.
Do we say that?
Yeah, yes, we did.
And here we find ourselves. Okay.
And let's see. I did a calculation cost behind that one on your landings at Live Oak FEMA update. So Live Oak 1, you'll see that the CRC gross cost is $931,622. What FEMA's doing now is because we are in negotiations with the insurance company, FEMA is taking out what they think that the insurance should be covering. And that's going to give you your bottom line here. That, so that's kind of just telling you the numbers where we're at right now. And then there's a little detailed summary on the back page of that FEMA determined the cost estimates based on repairing and elevating the buildings to pre-condition. Upon obligation, they want to submit your alternate project request as soon as possible, along with the time extension request showing the timeline of the work. FEMA has also now estimated insurance reductions, and once the final settlement is in place, it will alter the obligation amounts. So, and they list the items that we will need to submit for a alternate project.
But pre-storm condition means at the same elevation, correct?
Well, they added mitigation to that.
Okay,
Yeah, so they did add that.
all right.
Are the developers the same as we were originally talking about for the 4% and the 9%?
Yeah, they're the same developers. We have not changed anything.
So on the 9%, we'll be going back for the fourth time?
This will be the fourth time.
And
but-
because we have the
But both
boost-
of them are in DDA this year.
Yeah, so that should push up
That will
higher
boost
up
us.
yeah.
That will boost us to 30% and get us where we need to be. But like I said, 9% is also a competitive one. 4% is not.
Right, right. Well, that should help some, the boost should help some.
Well, it's the first time since Green Lawn Manor we've been in a boost.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And how does that happen?
That is decided by the state.
Okay,
You know, the state decides which areas are in a boost area.
okay. So it's just whatever they dream up. So
Yeah.
it's indiscriminate, so
More or
we are
less.
lucky.
So this is the first year since 2021, when we applied for Green Lawn Manor, that we've been in a boost.
So we'll take it
Yes. We'll move
and
forward.
be happy.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it's the lottery draw.
All right. Any other questions on Live Oak or West Side Phase 2 from any of the commissioners?
I just have one comment on the PDF. The title page that says development, it's misspelled. There's no E before the M.
What's that?
The page that says development before this section,
Okay,
development's misspelled.
okay, thank you.
All right, Teresa, financials.
Okay, sorry, Sonia could not be here today. She's under the weather, so I'm just going to go through this for you. Our public housing revenues for, this is the month ending July. We're still working with getting closeouts and everything ready with our new fee accountant. Our operating revenue was $171,013.53 with expenses of $198,812.21 with our new net income and loss of $27,798.68. And this is where our operating reserves come in. So we draw down reserves every month to cover this loss. That $340,000 that we're approving tonight. Our bank balance is $1,796,471.41. And so that consists of other cash of $853, $867.86. Restricted for FSS is, and that's escrows, $114,879. Restricted from the insurance proceeds that we've received so far, $807,371.38. And security deposits restricted for $10,352.22. We do have a CD investment of $50,000 in public housing. Our operating fund balance is $43,468, and that's in our ELOCs. That updates every month. Our FSS grant is the coordinator salary of $41,520.11. Our CFP for 2024 ELOCs is $350,548. That is for the demolition of Live Oak Homes. CFP 2025, we drew down $357,669 for new construction, which right as the shutdown happened, we drew down all our money. So that's in the bank. We have a balance of $33.83 there. And the back page of that shows you our what we see when we open up the HUD exchange for our drawdowns. Our capital fund program for 24 and 25 gives you your available award balances. Your operating fund gives you, like we've so far this year, authorized $231,468. Of course, you know, we still have till the end of March, so they'll keep distributing it as they see fit. And then our Ross coordinator, which is our FSS coordinator. Do you have any questions on public housing?
The Ross coordinator position ends, does it not, does it end?
Well, they call Ross FSS. It's
Oh, all
called
right.
Ross FSS.
Oh, it's Ross
FSS.
Okay.
It's just, I don't know why they do it. If you look under Ross on the right-hand side, it
Right.
says FSS
Right.
25. It can be confusing the way they put it in there. No questions, I'll move on to the HCB program, where we, operating reserve was $1,725,796.34. We expended $1,686,393.54. That gives us reserves of $39,402.80. Our total reserve through Section 8 restricted is $384,354.12. Our unrestricted is $419,649.30, with our total reserve at $804,003.42. Our bank balance is at $1,052,463.42, and we have a $50,000 investment in the HCB program. Any questions on the HCV? Okay, moving on to open market. Our open market program is $44,620.41. We spent $31,407.40 with a net income of $13,213.01. Bank balance of $283,462.44. Any questions on the open market bank? Okay, moving on to our development corporation. Operating revenue was $61,323.52, expenses of $30,149.68. Now that we're fully leased, we have income of $31,173.84. So now we don't have losses anymore. Our bank balance at $205,929.57. Any questions?
All right, well, then, if we're done with the financials, let's move on to the resolutions. Resolution 2025-15, approval of the fiscal year 2026 public housing operating subsidy in the amount of $340,066. The resolution's written incorrectly that we talked
Right.
about, so
Right.
can we approve it with a correction, or do you?
Yeah,
need to
we
bring
can
it back?
approve it and I'll change it and you can sign it tomorrow.
Okay, so I would like to have a motion to approve this resolution with a correction to $340,066, and a second.
So move.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, the next one is 2025-16, which is,
2025-16, 2025-17, I would like to pull from the agenda. Those have to be approved at the November meeting. We cannot approve those at a public hearing. We have to wait 15 days after a public hearing for approval. So we'll hold those till next month's meeting.
okay. Do you need a motion for that? I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You're talking about 16 and 17?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so Resolution 2025-18, which is the approval of the 2026 HCV payment standards. That's the housing choice voucher. That's the one with the 105% of fair market rent. I would entertain a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries. Resolution number 2025-19, approval of the 2026 public housing flat rent. This is the one with the 80% of the fair market value. I'll entertain a motion and a second. You have to say it, Sue.
Motion.
And a second?
Second.
That was Sue, Teresa.
Thank
All
you.
in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, none opposed, motion carries. And 2025, Resolution 2025-20, which is approval of obligation of $271,608 HUD held reserves for future development.
And I can explain that a little bit since we did not discuss this, Chair, if you would like me to.
That would be great.
Okay. There are HUD held reserves of $271,608 that HUD is holding of our Section 8 HAP reserves, okay? So this is money that they have not released to us and they hold in case they need to use it for another housing authority somewhere else. But because we have future development plans of using project-based vouchers on, with this money is to help pay for those 80 project-based vouchers that we're going to be using on our developments. It is a requirement for us now to obligate those HUD-held reserves for future development and put it in writing and have a board resolution so that they can't take our reserves. So right now, this is the reserves that HUD is holding, and we're asking the board to obligate them for future development and project-based vouchers.
Any questions? A motion and a second?
I move that Resolution 2025-20 be approved.
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries. Okay, does anybody have any thing for the good of the for the agency, or any questions or comments that you would like to bring forward before we adjourn? Yes.
The Human Service Ministry would like to thank the Housing Authority for the return of the deposit. We appreciate that. You can use that for someone else.
That's right. That's the reason we did it.
What is this?
Do you want to discuss this before or after the meeting? We can discuss it now.
Sure, if nobody has any other comments for the good
Oh,
of
okay.
the business of the meeting.
Well, this would be future business, so I think we should leave the meeting open for it.
Okay, but I wanted to ask you, Teresa, with this shutdown that we're experiencing, and, you know, we pulled down our money and whatnot, and, you know, you and I had something that I was trying to get done and I couldn't get done because there's nobody at HUD to help us get done what I needed to get done, that being that approval that I needed to be approved. And how is that affecting this? How is this shutdown? How do you see it affecting us as we go forward if this doesn't get solved in the near term?
That's why we have reserves. So we're required by HUD to have 4 months worth of reserves at all times, which we do. That's why we got, you know, over $1 million in the bank for Section 8. We have been told that HUD has enough money to fund November and December TAP payments. So right now, we're in good shape. Don't see any problems with the government not opening back up before January 1st. If it does, we do have reserves in the bank to cover January.
Well, let's hope it doesn't go to January here now.
Correct. But the funding is there for November and December, and that has been given to all the housing authorities.
Okay, well, that's good to know. That was one of my concerns.
Yes.
Okay, anyone else?
Thank you for addressing that. I had that on a list and I forgot. Thank you.
You want to talk about your party?
Yes. 75 years of the Housing Authority this year. We were developed and started in 1950. So we'd like to have like a little celebration of our 75-year anniversary of the Housing Authority. I have secured the Brannon Center. We did get a very good price on that, half off, because we're a nonprofit agency. And we're looking for sponsors and donors to sponsor tables or, you know, be a sponsor to help us cover the food and different things that we'll be having. We are going to have 1 or 2 speakers from the FSS program that have graduated into homeownership at this celebration. We also have some other things in store, you know, with this celebration. I think it would be good morale to invite the public housing tenants that we serve to this event. I'm not sure they'll come, but it would be nice to invite them. They are part of what we do.
Would you have to get a bus to bring them over? I mean, they don't
No,
have
they
cars.
most of all of them drive.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, most of our tenants that we have right now are driving, and it's during the day, so some of them won't be able to come because they're working, but we would like to at least offer them the opportunity.
And so we talked earlier, you're going to invite your partners, like Habitat for Humanity and Our Lady Star of the Sea,
Mhm.
and
And I have talked to Habitat for sponsorship, Wilkie's Pest Control for sponsorship. So we are looking for some sponsors to help us sponsor, the food and be able to pay for some of the expenses.
You have a cost per table?
I have 150 people coming, so I'd say, I don't have the cost for the
Okay.
caterer yet, so I'm working on that. Once I have the
Just wondering,
cost,
cost per table.
yeah, once I have the cost
Okay.
for the caterer, I'll know.
Thanks.
I'll have more information.
so all of those checks that Regis and I sign every month, we can go to all of those suppliers.
Yes, we are reaching out to all of those suppliers. We're reaching out to our landlords for some swag. We're also asking for gift baskets so we can do some raffles, centerpiece decorations, so we can raffle off some centerpieces on the tables. This is the first time of me doing this, so I would greatly appreciate all your help. And my team is really excited. We formed a committee of a few of our staff to help do this.
This is a big undertaking
Certainly is.
It
unless,
is a very big undertaking.
In a month.
Right, in a month, yeah. Okay, well, I guess you need to let us know when you're having your planning meeting and invite us to your planning meeting so
Okay.
we can then know how we can help exactly. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of ways to participate.
Okay, I will let you know as soon as Sonia gets back in the office and feeling better.
And aren't we supposed to come to a meeting of the commission, the city commission, when they're going to recognize the housing authority
That
for the?
is, I believe, October 23rd. That,
It's
The-
the 28th.
is it the 28th?
Well, that's in my phone, the 28th, which is a Tuesday, right?
Right.
City
Okay.
Commission meeting for the 75-year celebration, yeah.
Okay, it's the 28th then, okay. Yep, you're right. 75-year celebration, yeah, October 28th, and I have 6:30. Have they changed those meetings yet? I heard they were going to try to change the times of the
5:30,
meeting.
right? To 5:30, maybe?
Have they done that yet or not?
I don't know. Okay.
So right now, it's the 28th at 6:30, but I think they have on the agenda to change their city commission times.
All right, well, you'll follow up on that with us.
I will.
Just let us know. All right, so I think, yeah, there's a lot to do with this, Teresa. I don't want to belabor the meeting with it, so I think if you just let us know whenever you're having that planning meeting and whoever wants to come and participate, and then we can let people know how they can contribute,
Mhm.
whatever, you know.
Okay. That would be wonderful.
I feel I'm getting sucked in on this, I just don't know.
What?
Congratulations.
Well, Judy, gift certificates, gift baskets, and swag donations
Thank you,
Yeah.
Judy.
for
And
starters.
and sponsors, please.
And sponsors.
Okay,
Well,
Yeah.
when you know the table, then we'll look for sponsors,
Okay.
the table cost.
all right. Okay, anything else for the good of the agency? Then I am going to adjourn the meeting at 6:39 PM. Thank you all for coming and your participation and your volunteerism and your dedication to assisting folks who need housing.